AITA for kicking my 72-year-old mill out of the house at night. Because she threw away my things? I am not the original poster. That is you, no maybe 3163. She posted in r, am I the asshole? Mood spoiler. Tentative happy ending. Less than. Original post. October 21st, 2023. I, 36F. Live with my husband. 41M. I have a decent relationship with my mill. Compared to a lot of the horror stories I hear from friends. She's quite sweet and warm. She is, however, a little over-controlling, overprotective? I'm not sure of the exact word. But she has very strong ideas about things and no sense of boundaries. For example, when she stays at our house she takes over the kitchen completely and insists on cooking all our meals. She cooks wonderfully, but she won't let me help her at all, and puts everything away in the wrong places and then insists that her way is more logical. She only really comes for holidays, though, and I do like her a lot, so I don't mind putting up with these mild annoyances. I'm currently pregnant with our little girl, who will be born in a few months. This is a miracle. I really didn't think it would happen, especially so late, but we got lucky. When my mill heard, she was super excited and said she would come over to help us get ready for the baby. She offered to stay for the next 6 months or so to help out. Because my husband and I both work long hours and it will be hard to handle the baby on top of this. She is also pretty emotionally invested in this, because she truly sees herself as part of our family. She arrived a few days ago and set herself up. Then she started with the cleaning. I like collecting things from garage sales and such. Things like little sculptures and books and baskets. Stuff a lot of people would consider utter junk. Our house is definitely overstuffed, but it's reasonably tidy and doesn't seem like a hoarder's house or anything. My mill, on the other hand, likes everything surgically clean. Yesterday I came home from work to find the house like a war zone. She went through my cabinets and cleared out everything she considered junk, and had apparently made several trips to Goodwill before I got home. I was really angry and I asked her why she would ever do this. She said the house has to be tidy for the baby, and that it would be dangerous for the baby to be in my cluttered house. Then she took the next huge bag of stuff and tried to walk out the door. I kind of lost it, and I told her she could get out right now. She was shocked that I was serious, and she said she doesn't have anywhere to go and it's so late. It was about 9:30. I booked her a hotel room and called a taxi. My husband came home an hour later, and when I told him what happened, he was furious with me. He says I disrespected his mom and was ungrateful for everything she's trying to do for us. AITA? Relevant comments. She definitely overstepped, but she may have been trying to help if your house is super cluttered. It's not cluttered. I don't just have piles of stuff lying around. Everything is in cabinets and arranged in a visually pleasing way. It's sort of a cluttered aesthetic. But I've had guests over and everyone thinks it's pretty cool. Due date. Baby is due in 2 months. She said she'd stay for a bit after the baby was born. As to if Oop is a hoarder. Okay, I'm just going to give y'all a list of all my junk, and you can decide if I'm a hoarder. A walk-in closet with a lot of thrifted clothes. Some that I altered myself, 4 quilts in said walk-in closet, an antique wood desk with a typewriter. That is admittedly just taking up space. But it is gorgeous. A lot of wall art. None of it matches, which my mill hates. But it's all hung properly and intentionally. 2 shelves of fancy china in the dining room, which I'm never going to use. But again, it's displayed purposefully, a coin collection. In Ziploc bags in my closet too, ugly, end tables, several rugs from garage sales that are in use, not just rolled up in a corner. 2 bookcases of books. You can never have too many books. And fine. Books lying around on the coffee table, kitchen table, and couch, a few shelves in said bookcases with family memorabilia and such houseplants, a lot of throw pillows that also don't match at all, a tree sculpture with Christmas ornaments and pictures hung on it, lamps on every table, a geode collection, a spice rack with a lot of little spice bottles. Too many dishes. It fits in 2 kitchen cabinets though. Normal house things. What she gave away, a bag or 2 of my clothes that supposedly aren't practical. A box of books, a bunch of paintings, some pillows, dishes, a whole drawer of my rocks. Oop is voted NTA. Update post. October 25th, 2023. 4 days later. Thank you to everyone to replied to my post. Appreciate the advice and wishes for the baby. So I talked to my husband after we both cooled down a bit. And I told him I felt let down that he didn't support me. He said it was just stuff. And he didn't think I cared that much. I also asked him if he asked his mom to declutter. And if he has a problem with my things. He said no. He literally has zero opinion about my decor or collections. I believe him. Because this is the guy who doesn't know the difference between blue and purple. So he said that's why he thought I overreacted. Because in his mind it's just stuff and not nearly as important as a person whose feelings can be hurt. I said that my things matter to me because I've put effort into collecting, fixing them, and that some hold memories too. He said he understands and he apologized. We went and brought my mill home from the hotel in the morning. And I said I was sorry for losing my temper. And asked her if we could talk. She was still upset but agreed. I told her I should have said this a long time ago. But I don't like it when she takes over and doesn't treat my home like it's mine. She seemed offended but she said okay. I told her I would be really grateful if she helps with the baby and I want her in my child's life. But she has to work with me and not just do everything herself. She said but you work. And I said that I know it's not what she did when she had a child. But I want to make this work and I think I can have a job and also be in charge of my home. She was definitely annoyed but she agreed to everything and didn't argue. So I think it will work out okay. I unfortunately couldn't get my stuff back though. But I have plenty more rocks hidden away. The fact the mill took helping out with the baby as being in charge of the home and baby as a bigger problem than I think Oop and her husband realizes. Help isn't head of household, and the fact her mill immediately went to that mindset because Oop works tells me they're still in for licks of trouble when the baby actually comes. I'm glad that this has been resolved for now. But I can see why it's been flared as ongoing rather than concluded. The mill doesn't sound like the kind of person who's going to be able to hold back on the control issues for long. And I suspect that there are any number of boundaries that she has yet to violate. She's going to throw things away on the sly now, tired. The real problem here isn't the mill. It's the husband. He's willing to hurt his wife's feelings to protect his mother's feelings. Because in his mind it's just stuff and not nearly as important as a person whose feelings can be hurt. He sees this as stuff versus feelings and not wife's feelings versus mom's feelings. This is not going to go well. Mill is going to be secretly throwing things out and pushing at every chance. She does not understand what she did was wrong because she sees her way as right. Also, the comments about Oop working means that Mill is going to believe that any time Oop is at work, she is in charge of the house. Someone who doesn't understand boundaries is not going to learn after one talk. Especially because Sin doesn't seem to understand either, and because of that he clearly doesn't really back Oop. The next 6 months are going to be hell for Oop. When I saw pile of books in the list of things Mill gave away, I saw red pouting. Touch my Kindle and hurt you. Touch my precious paperbacks and nobody will ever find your body. Sincerely. otherwise non-aggressive and quiet bookworm. I can't believe Oop apologized for being mad that someone came into her home and threw her stuff out. I would make that woman go to wherever to get rid of it and get it back. I don't care if she has to climb into a dumpster and get my stuff back, just to throw it back into the dumpster. I can't even believe she's letting Mill back in her house. Trust is earned and she lost all trust the last time. Trust now needs to be earned again. And the first step is either giving her the money to buy it back or going and looking for it. I bet if you threw out the TV or the bed or the computer, OOP's husband wouldn't be saying things are replaceable, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal to you, but it matters to her. This will not end well. All Mill learned is to do whatever she wanted. Dill will get mad and then I cry to my son and he will fix it, so I can keep doing it. Mill 100% just wants to decorate and set up the house the way she wants it. My mother used to do the same thing to my home. She has control issues. She means well, but it's also insulting being made to feel as if you don't know how to decorate, arrange your own damn home. I actually have a very masculine, library vibe to my home. Not cluttered or messy at all. Leather and dark wood. I love it. I eventually told my mom if she ever moved even one tiny thing again, she would never be welcomed in my home again. Sometimes you just need to put your foot down. It is not clear that Mill has learned that you have to anticipate boundaries that you might not expect. Look for them, and ask about them proactively. She may instead think it's still better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Then she can join the missing reasons club. Maybe that's too much. It was 2 mistakes. Throwing stuff out and then not backing down. But I'm not optimistic. Oh boy, this isn't over. Her Mill is going to mother the baby and they'll end up fighting over whether the baby needs to wear socks or something. Not even counting all the other stuff. Mill threw away a couple of bags of OP's clothes that weren't practical. So, Mill assumes she is now in charge of what OP wears. If it were me, next time Mill was asleep or away on errands, I'd bag up most of the clothes in Mil's suitcase and hide them under my bed, then pretend I disposed of them in the dumpster. Just to give her a little taste of how that feels. After a discussion involving both Mill and husband where Mill is forced to acknowledge that she has no right to dispose of other people's personal possessions, and boundaries are agreed by everyone, the hidden bag of clothes could be returned. There are very few circumstances in which I'd be bold enough to throw away anything that doesn't belong to me. What is with Mills and their sense of entitlement? My husband and I go gem mining. We have lots of rocks. I'd be filing a police claim if someone took my rocks and donated them. I have a feeling this will not end well. Mill will still be stealing stuff, just in smaller amounts now to not be as noticeable. And this is why parents getting parental leave is so important. You shouldn't have to bring in a third party to look after your newborn and FCK your whole house up, just because you have to return to work. This whole scenario is insane. I wish she had suggested to her husband that perhaps some of his things should be thrown into the declutter pile without his consent, so he could figure out empathy. My mom has legitimate hoarder issues. Her dad was even worse. She's made an effort to get better in recent years, but she's faced major setbacks from helpful friends. One of her friends basically swept the whole end table into the trash. Yes, there was disorganized mail and old cat toys, but also my mom's prescription glasses and the cable TV remotes. It took a lot of effort to restore the idea that I would only throw away trash, let alone build the trust to give things away and get rid of useful things. We are in a good place now with cleaning. But that helpful friend really messed things up. If you want to help someone clean, do some dishes and mop the floor. Straighten up the pile of books. Maybe even put them in a box. But put that box somewhere handy. Wash some towels and deep clean the bathroom. There are so many more helpful ways to clean that aren't excuses to be snoopy and judgmental. ETA. I don't mean to imply that OOP is a hoarder at all. They seem very reasonable in that they want to keep their collections organized and out of the way. I was just trying to say that tossing someone's belongings that way is incredibly hurtful. And if someone really is a hoarder, this action will only make things worse. Oh, this is sad. Op is going to lose a lot of herself when Mill throws it out. Find out her husband doesn't support her and eventually lose the husband. I don't want to read this update. This isn't even close to being over. What it boils down to is that the Mill stole the OOP's belongings. She didn't just bin them. She took them out of the house and gave them away. And yeah, she'd have gone out and stayed out if she touched my books. I doubt this is over. The husband's lack of a spine is worrying. And I can see him in a few months insisting that his elderly mother, who has more energy than my lazy 50-something bones if she's cleaning the whole house, needs to move in permanently with them so that they, i.e. OOP, can look after her. She threw out dishes and books. I would have been absolutely furious.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.